What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And today we are going to get into some nitty gritty, some strategy here, and bring up a few topics of discussion that I think are very important for all of you serious VeVe investors. And this is some information that I have been wanting to share with you for quite some time. And I will continue on this if you find this valuable. So just please let me know in the comments if this is the kind of information that you would like to have as we move forward in these exciting NFT times. So I'm going to bring up my notes. I've got a few notes that I put together here on a Word document just to keep me on track. All right, so the first item on the list, market price trends and the MTL. We are in the midst of what I call strategy 2.0, which is my second step in this process of investing in the VeVe NFTs. In my first step, my first strategy, it was buy and flip. Of course, as many of you already know, I came onto the app very early last year at about this time, and I was blindly buying everything that I could. And then we went into a price hypercycle that just blew hot within 2 months of the time that I jumped into the app. At that point, I started selling items on eBay, and I churned about $12,000 on my collection and still had roughly 200 items left over, and was able to start accumulating again after paying off a lot of bills, buying a car, and paying some tuition for my daughter in college. And then at that point, I hit 275 items and then decided to keep on moving and to curtail the selling on eBay. What I didn't know at the time is that we had a blow off top and we started to move down. So once I realized that prices were settling, and that was indeed a blow off top, I decided to move to the next phase of my collection strategy. That's where I came up with strategy 2.0. It's the crypto pro strategy, my own strategy. Not to say that you should adopt this, but this is just letting you know where I am so you can maybe glean some interesting insight and information for your own strategy, which you should make yourself, because I can't give you financial advice without knowing your financial situation. And I can only tell you to be careful and don't spend money that you cannot afford to lose or sit on for 6 months to a year, because this market is volatile. All right, so speaking of the market, the prices are still dropping. It's not rapid, it's slow. We had that blow off top a month or two ago, and we're seeing prices being cut down in half from that peak. For instance, the DeLorean Ultra Rare, I think, peaked out at $1,899, and it's less than half of that now as it's trading in the mid 800 range. Overall, everything is following the same pattern, and we're still floating down. What I'm waiting for is for the prices to settle down and hit rock bottom. I don't think we're there yet. One of the reasons is we have not really heard anything solid on the MTL progress. That is the money transfer license. That would give us the ability to convert gems to cash. A lot of the smaller users are very worried, and a lot of people who have not entered the app are very worried, because right now it looks like VeVe is a walled garden, which means you can get in, but you can't get out, and that you are spending money on items in the app, converting to gems to buy more items. Once the MTL is done and people are comfortable that they can convert their gems to cash, we'll probably see a lot more buying activity going on. But when it first comes out, there is a chance that we could see a big dip on the market, as people will be competing to sell off items and undercutting each other so that they can cash out. A lot of people will invest in these items haphazardly and dive in headfirst without a strategy, panic, and then want to sell and get their money out. I can't tell you how many times I've had people who will tell me, oh, I have a family emergency, or I've got to cash out to pay some bills and I can't. What do I do? So that's why I think that we are going to see the final dip when the MTL happens. Now, I don't know what the current progress is. I don't have enough free time to stay up on that news every day. And there are plenty of people who watch the channel and other channels that keep us up to date on MTL. And if you happen to know what the current status is, share it in the comments and let everybody else know. I think it's going to happen within the next couple of weeks, but this is something that we've been waiting on for months. And I will not go to the next step of my buying strategy and selling strategy until we have gotten through the MTL process. Now, some people wonder, is our investment safe? What about this bubble popping that everybody's talking about? I think there is a difference between the garbage NFTs that we see on OpenSea and what we have on VeVe. The biggest difference between the world of NFTs out there and what we have here is brand recognition. The current popular thing that people are diving into and spending ungodly amounts of money would be the trash NFTs that are garbage art, that are based on collections of 1,000 single items that all have some minute difference. And you have some rare items, some middle items that have greater value, and then the common items that don't pull as much of value. So someone will make a frog and then make 10,000 variations of this frog that someone probably spent 30 minutes on designing, and then they throw them out on OpenSea and everybody goes bananas. If you want to see how that works, go check out the Bored Apes Yacht Club and see how much money that people are dumping into what I call garbage art, because there's not much time and energy that's put into these art pieces, and it's more like a pyramid scheme where it gets super popular, everyone jumps in, the first ones that are out cash out, and the last people holding the bag are going to be the ones that are hurting. Okay, so that's the big difference between the two types of NFTs. VeVe is not the only one that is dealing NFTs that are backed by major worldwide recognizable brands with high quality art, but there are a few others. We do have Recur that's coming on, and maybe a couple others that I can't think of off the top of my head. And of course, there are the classics like NBA Top Shot. I don't think a bubble pop will affect us in the same way, because one day people are going to wake up and realize that these garbage art pieces with the 10,000 variations that anyone can create, you can jump on Fiverr and pay somebody $50 to make the next garbage collection. Maybe you can make the astronaut collection, something similar to that just came out on the Nifty Gateway, or you could make the I don't know, the space rabbits, or the crazy monkeys, or the hippopotamus collection of Mars. I don't know. It's just a bunch of nonsense in my opinion. But when the bubble pops, I think that's where it's going to hurt the most. Not to say that it won't affect VeVe at all, but I don't think we have a worry there. So overall, I think our investment is somewhat safe. And I say that with the warning that I don't know everything and nothing is a guarantee, but I think we're safe because there are a lot of serious investors coming into the market, and we have big name people that are celebrities like Andre Jick who are now just going absolutely bananas over VeVe NFTs, and they're attracting another level of big time famous people and rich folks who are saying, oh, is this the next big shiny thing? Maybe we should jump into this. So that's a good thing. Next topic, exit strategy and liquidity issues. Someone brought up a good point on Twitter, and they said that for those of you who think that you can hold an item and then sell and make your 100x return, and you're holding until you see that big peak, you need to consider the fact that it is very hard to catch the top whenever we have that frenzied moment where we run into the markup phase. It's tough to catch a blow off top before you sail off the peak of the mountain and start to rapidly decline on the other end. And so then you have the issue of liquidity. Will there be enough liquidity and people willing to buy after a blow off top for you to cash in on your 100x or 1000x club banger? That's something to think about. Selling before you hit a blow off top is a smart thing to do. You can't time the market perfectly and sell at a peak. And when you try that, sometimes you can end up chasing items as they're falling down the mountain. And that might mean lowering the price of your item in order to get it sold. We see that happening right now as people will compete with others, undercutting the market, where you might have an item that has a floor price of $1,000 and someone sells it $9.99, and then they sit. So then someone else thinks, I've got to give a steal of a deal in order to get mine sold right now. So I'm going to undercut it by 100 gems instead of 1 gem. And then the feeding frenzy starts. The ball starts to roll down the mountain and the prices tumble. Consider that what just happened. Oh my, I just had a brief power outage. The screen came back up, thank God. All right, consider that and make your strategy and decide on your exit prices before it happens so you don't get caught at that peak, at the blow off top, and have to chase prices down the mountain in order to sell. Okay, it brings me to the next thing. How long do you hold? Some people say hold for a year. Some say hold for 2 years. Some say hold it for several years, especially with the golden moments in the Disney collection. They say, well, you've got to hold these for the long term and never let go. But that can get dangerous because if you get greedy and you hold too long and something happens that changes the entire market, you might be looking back on the days when we had seriously high prices and these blow off tops where you could have gotten out at a massively high price and you missed your opportunity. So how long do you hold? Well, that's up to you. I have a strategy and I will not hold in a greedy way for the highest possible price that nobody knows. But I have a strategy of when I will exit and what I will do with that money to continue to leverage. And that brings me to the next thing, these price predictions. I want to show you a couple pictures here that have been floating around on the Twitter. And this blows my mind. I don't know if there's any truth to this or if this will really come to pass. But let's just take a look at this that was posted about a prediction for the values on December 31st of this year, at the end of the year. We're looking at Marvel Comics possibly being 4,000 gems. That's believable. Superman at 40K. That could happen. The Todd at $75,000. That would be insane. I would love that. And I think it's certainly possible. Catwoman at 2.3K, I think that's a low estimation. We've got the Harley Quinn at 5.5K. That's possible. It could be on the low end. The Spider-Man Zombie Ultra Rare at 1.8K, I think that's a low estimate. The Ultra Rare Spider-Man at 48K, it's possible. Secret Rare 250K, well, we've already seen 100,000 on the Secret Rare. So 250K is possible, and there are people talking about a floor of $1 million as a possibility in the future, which would be 10x of the recent blow-off top. $850, I think that's the common on the stamps for the Day of the Dead. That might be a low estimation. I see that going higher. I know that's not the ultra rare because the ultra rare is already above 600 gems. $12,000 on the Coke Globe. I assume that's the ultra rare or secret rare. I think it's an ultra rare. 140,000 on Partners statue. That's possible. We're already at 44. I think that's reasonable. 35,000 on R2D2. I would love to see that. 13,000 on Elsa, ultra rare of 50,000 on the Steamboat Willie, and 5,000 on the uncommon. So all of these are possible. Will I wait until we hit those prices? No. There are two considerations. It depends on where we're at in the crypto market and where we are with world economy, with the stock market, and what I can leverage this money into, which I will get to next. Now let's go to this other one here. It's a little harder to see. This is another 1-year price projection that has 3 scenarios. So for instance, it has Homer and Bart. They're saying that the low would be 65,000 and change. The high would be 108,000. Good Lord, that's amazing. One that is really noteworthy, we've got the Sorcerer's Hat coming in at a low of 170,000. Gee whiz, and a high of 281,000. I think this is on the high side. I don't know about this prediction. I mean, I'd love to see it, but I'm not holding my breath, and I'm not going to bet the farm on that. I mean, that's just insane. The partner statue at $1.4 million all the way to 2.3 million. I don't know, guys. That's kind of sketchy there. And they've got R2D2 at 239,000 to 395. I don't believe it. The danger of this type of prediction is that it could get you to the greed level where you're just holding out, waiting to see this, and you miss your chance of cashing out. And you got to think about, well, why are you in this? Are you in this just to play with these things and take AR pictures and to brag? You know, that's okay if you are. If you're looking to get clout and have the credibility of owning one of these digital dollies, as my friend Adam would say from the UK. Are you here for making money? If you are, then you need to watch the greed and make your strategy now and maybe set it on a time frame and not a solid price. Decide what you want to do and how you can leverage that money when you get out. Now, let's scroll back up to the list here. It doesn't matter to me when I sell these items. I could sell the R2D2 today at 8,000 and I'd be fine. And some people would say, well, you'd be shooting yourself in the foot if you sell that. That sucker's going to be so much higher. Well, no, I wouldn't. First of all, I bought the thing for $60. Second of all, $8,000 is a significant amount of money. And hey, my kids need shoes. I got college tuitions to pay. I got some things that I want to do with money. And it's not every day that you can invest $60 and flip it to $8,000. Now, some people will say that they won't believe those values until someone can have that as cash in their hand. And you're right about that. You shouldn't say that, okay, I started with VeVe and now I'm a millionaire. No, you're not. You're not a millionaire until you turn it into USDT, USDC, US dollar. When you convert that to whatever fiat currency from what country that you live in, then you can brag. Until then, you better be careful about boasting how rich you are on your VeVe NFTs if you're just sitting on a big bag of gems. All right, next is leveraging your holdings into crypto. The reason why it doesn't matter to me of when I exit is because of what I can do with that money when I sell. If I sold R2D2 today for $8,000, I will be leveraging that into crypto projects that have the possibility of going up 10x from that point. So let's say I sold too early and R2D2 hits 35,000 by the end of the year. But if I roll that into crypto, let's say I invest into Flux that's at $1.80 right now, and then Flux ends up going to $100. Let's say it goes 20x, 30x, 40x. I'm okay. And I can always go back to the app and look at the R2D2 while I'm counting the gains that I'm making in crypto. So that is why it really doesn't matter if you have a strategy and you know what you can do to leverage that money. Now, if you're just looking to sell out and pay bills, that's another thing. The longer you can hold out, the better. Okay, so I would not sell R2D2 today if I was not going to invest all of the returns. If I'm going to use that to pay bills and college tuition, then I will wait until the end of the year and then I'll try to cash out and spend that money. Okay, NFT to OMI considerations. This is something that I'm waiting on, and I don't know when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, but there's something to consider here. What if I could take that 8,000 gems and roll that into OMI? That is also leveraging into crypto. And one sneaky thing is the IRS is not going to be able to figure out how to tax me on that, because I'm selling for gems, which is a stable coin, and then I'm purchasing OMI tokens with that. Are they smart enough to know how to tax gems? How do you do a capital gains tax on a gem, which is a stable coin? Right now, I think the only way that you can pay a capital gain is when you sell a stable coin to USD and then you deposit that into your bank account. I could be wrong, and I'm not a financial advisor. I have an accounting firm, a professional accounting firm, and I have tax advisors. I use them. And what they're telling me right now is the IRS doesn't really know how to look at these things. And we're kind of in that gray area. We're too early on where they have figured out how to suck the living lifeblood out of us and take our gains. So if we get NFT to OMI, that might be a very good way to avoid a hit on capital gains and allow you to continue to leverage before you cash out. Now, the last thing that I have on the list here is selling offsite eBay. I'm going to have a whole nother video and we're going to talk more in depth about that. Here's the thing. VeVe has been very unclear about the rules. In the beginning, they had rules which stated that any activity outside of the app could get you banned. It was against the policy. While they had that rule in place, tons of people were selling on eBay. And then I thought, wait a minute here. Why am I going to sit here and watch all these other people sell and be afraid of this rule? And so then I decided I'm going to move forward and sell this stuff because if I get kicked out, I can cash out now and I'm at a profit anyway. And then I noticed that they weren't going after people, and then they softened their stance where they said, yeah, you can sell on eBay, but just keep in mind that, the rules are still there. So in other words, they weren't making a solid decision on enforcing the rule and kicking people out for selling off site, which makes you think back to the days of the big argument against VeVe when people were accusing VeVe of not selling NFTs. They were saying that the items that we have are not real NFTs because you don't own them. Because if you purchase it and they can make a rule of how you store it, which it can't be stored outside of the app, and how you sell it, which they said you can't sell it outside of the app, then the argument was you don't own an NFT. Now, I at the time said that, yeah, these are still NFTs because they are secured on the GoChain blockchain. So it was something that was still trackable, traceable on the blockchain, but it was just not ERC20 token. And the rules were still in place that would restrict how you could use the thing that you paid your hard-earned money for. They have not clarified in the rules. They have not put a line through that rule saying that you can't buy or sell outside of the app, as far as I know. So I think eBay selling is still possible. Now, people ask me, well, how do you sell on eBay? And can you do a video about that? I might do an overview, but that would take too much time and it's too complex. And the majority of people have not done their homework to be able to do this and to understand it, because you need to be an experienced eBay seller to avoid the risk of getting taken to the cleaners, because there are a lot of scam artists on eBay. All right. When you get on eBay and you make a sell, it does not go through the blockchain. You are making a contractual agreement. It's like an escrow service. They pay you the money on eBay, you pay eBay closing fees, and then you hold your end of the contract and you send that item to the other VeVe user through the app. So the requirement to sell on eBay is that buyers must have the VeVe app. And I've had a lot of people ask me that question, which to me is a silly question, because why would somebody want to buy that and they're not on VeVe already? You're not going to have people out there that have never been on the VeVe app and want to buy an item on eBay because they won't know what the value is. All right. So I might do an overview on eBay with the caveat that you better watch yourself. And you also better realize and understand that I am a 20 plus year eBay veteran. I know how to do it. I have been established on eBay and I have thousands of positive ratings. So when people are buying, they can trust that I'm not being a scam artist, because anyone can make a VeVe listing on eBay, copy a screenshot of someone else's item and say, yeah, I'll send you this after you pay me. And then they take your money and they disappear off the face of the earth. And you have no recourse, because they don't care that they're going to get kicked off of eBay for violating the terms of service. So there are a lot of considerations there, and that's why I think everyone needs to slow their roll on wanting to jump in headfirst on eBay. I will be looking to sell by other means. Whenever we can sell items on Immutable X, I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to be very open to the idea of selling and using escrow services. People will probably feel more comfortable to buy from me off the app because I'm established on YouTube and I'm established on eBay. Whereas new users, you're not going to have that credibility. So you're going to have to use an escrow service. But it's interesting. I'm going to have to do another video on what happens to the fees in the app and the royalties to the artist when people are selling off of the app. How about that 8% fee on Marvel items? Now, what if somebody sends me a Marvel item, which somebody actually sent me a comic? Thank you very much. I can't remember his name, but he was on Twitter and just sent me a random comic. Thank you. Thank you. I was so appreciative of that because he has benefited from my content. Now, when he gives me that item, does he pay a fee? No, he does not. There's no tax on giving an item and sending that item to someone else. So what's the difference between that and selling something off-site where you're delivering that item? How are they going to know? Maybe with Immutable X and the tracking of that item on the blockchain, maybe they solve that. Maybe they could say that if you sell outside of the app, it has to be through Immutable Blockchain so the fees can come through. But still, how will you prevent people from giving an item from your app collection to someone else? Would you have to sign a disclosure saying that this was a gift and that I didn't sell it? That's just something to think about. All right. Well, this Strategy 2.0 update has gone long enough, and I think we can end it here. And I will give you a sneak preview of Strategy 3.0 coming up soon, and that is going to be the phase that I will move into once MTL is done and once we can list on Immutable X. What I will be doing at that point is continuation of accumulation, but also a steady stream of sales and converting these items into USDT, into cash, and into cryptocurrency so I can cover my bases and break even again, because I am nearing 800 items and I'm stepping out there on faith right now where I'm at a huge risk that if we had some worldwide catastrophic event, I would be in the hole. As long as our investment is safe right now, I'd say that I'm not in the hole because the values have increased up above the price that I have paid for the majority of these things. I don't have very many items that are less than what I paid for. So that's all I've got for now. Let me know if you appreciated this content and if you want more like this, where we hit these specific topics on the head and dig down deep into this trading strategy. That's all I got. This is Carlton. I am out.